Anne-Elisabeth Moutet. She's a columnist for The Telegraph and joins us now live from Paris. Quite a day there in Paris. We were speaking earlier to our correspondent, Peter Allen, and it's incredible that the protests have become already very violent. Is this going to be a repeat of the yellow vest? How long do you think this will all continue? What is happening in France right now, would you say?
I would say there are several things here, and some of the protests were not violent, and then there's unfortunately, I hesitate to call a tradition, but a habit in France of various groups that have nothing to do with the people who called for the demonstration to aggregate towards the end of the demonstration and then start violence. Some of them would be the equivalent in France of Antifa. We call them Black Bloc, and some of those have just come to loot. And the police know about them, but it's very difficult to separate them and try not to harm the demonstrators who are perfectly entitled to demonstrate. And on the other hand, to try and bring some order, which, you know, from the pictures that we've all just seen, is not terribly good.
And will President Macron listen? Will he do any U-turns like we've seen happen over the channel there with Liz Truss? And of course, you know, you work for the British newspaper, the Telegraph. How different will the reaction of the leaders be to the discontent on the streets? I guess that's the question.
Well, there's a huge difference between Liz Truss, who just arrived, who arrived with a very specific, laid out program of tax cuts, which may or may not have worked, but basically which she had to give up entirely. Emmanuel Macron doesn't really have such a clear-cut platform. He is more sort of treating things as it goes along. He's looking at those demonstrations, which are a number of things at the same time. You've got people who are in employment, who feel that inflation is destroying their incomes, making it more difficult for them to take care of their families, and they want pay raises. And these things have already started. The thing that started everything was the oil companies, the refineries. There was a proposal for 7% raise. This is not enough, said the union, so it's gone on. But the likelihood is that actually they will get raises and then they'll stop striking. There's a huge difference between that. And as I said again, what happened in Britain, it was a comprehensive thrashing of the entire platform of the government. Here we're still in the position in which it's a normal negotiation and the unions are doing what they are here to be doing.
And what will it mean for Macron right now?
It doesn't help him anyway. It doesn't look good. It's more a question that what exactly is he doing? He's now told the companies, you must give raises to your employees. In effect, what he says in French is make an effort. That is perfectly understandable. You then have the mashup of negotiations for raises and a more political discussion in which the line is much more familiar to people who've been watching the new left in various countries. They say tax the rich. France is not a country of low taxes. It's a country of high taxes with a maximum band of 45% of income, plus one of the highest company tax in the EU, plus huge social levies on the salaries. So it's not as if it were a country where there was not money put into social welfare, into benefits. But at a time when France is so much in debt because of COVID, because of a number of things, it's difficult to have more measures than the ones that have been recently decided on bonuses, on a raise for pensioners, a number of things. It depends whether there is to be haggling or whether the fight becomes entirely political. These are two different ways in which it could go.
All right, thank you so much. Great to have you on the program. Thank you for your analysis and time. Anne-Elisabeth Moutet, thank you.
Thank you.